Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Cut Plans. Today's video is going to be a look at my July 2026 TBR. If you're interested in hearing and seeing what books I want to read this month, please stick around. Before we dive into my TBR, I have to say I'm wearing my Yes Chef shirt today, and I'm doing so because I think I might try and binge watch the last series of The Bear. I'm gonna binge it today. I'm gonna binge it today. It's gonna make me cry. I'm gonna be very emotional, but I also desperately, desperately want to watch it. If anyone has watched the last season so far, let me know so that we can discuss it. I need to be able to debrief with someone. But now that we have that out of the way, we are going to talk about the books that are on my July 2026 TBR. As usual, I did use TBR prompts to pick my TBR this month. All of the prompts that I used were from the shop Floors on Sunday. They have an Etsy shop as well as a website. And I also really leaned into the idea of using a random number generator for my TBR this month. So for whatever prompt that I got, if there was multiple options on my shelves, I would pull all of them out, count how many there were, and then choose a number on my random number generator and read that book. So that combination I think is really fun for picking my TBR, and I am really, really hopeful and really optimistic that I'm going to read every book on my TBR in the month of July. I came very close last month. I read 5 out of the 6 books. I want to read all 6, and I do feel like overall the TBR was really trying to help me out, and we'll talk about why in a little while. Our first prompt for July 2026 is to read a cowboy romance. I have not read a cowboy romance in quite a while, and I was very excited to get this prompt because I feel like romance in the summer just hits better and it hits different. And just a couple of days before I picked my July TBR, I received this beautiful review copy of Duke by Jessica Peterson from Bloom Books. So thank you so much to them for sending this to me. This has fun sprayed edges to it. I know this is a part of an interconnected standalone series. It's called the Lucky River Ranch series. I think this is book 3 or 4. I have not read any of this series before, but I'm just going to dive in with Duke and see what happens. I'm very much looking forward to reading this. Our next prompt for July is to read a book with 350 pages or less, which to me was such a fun prompt to get. And the book that I ended up picking is one that I have to be honest, I am incredibly nervous about. I recently picked this up. I've seen this show up on so many people's best of 2025 reading lists, and it intrigued me instantly because I have wanted to dabble a bit into horror, and picking a book that seems to be very widely enjoyed and loved seemed like a great way to do that. Since seeing this on many lists and being intrigued enough to want to pick it up, though, I've learned a little bit of a detail about one of the characters in this book. I'm assuming the main character, that makes me quite nervous. The book is Bat Eaters and Other Names for Cora Zeng by Kylie Lee Baker. And I have heard that one of the characters in this book has OCD. And OCD is something I have a very hard time reading about, and I don't enjoy reading about it. If it is there in the background, if it is not a major plot point, if it's not a major piece of the story, I can tolerate that, I can handle that, and that's fine. If it is very much at the forefront, if it's being discussed in detail, that is challenging for me personally. I did DNF a book earlier this year because of that. So I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know that I'm going to be able to make my way through this book, but I want to attempt it for so many different reasons. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I'm nervous about it. I'm worried about it, but we'll see. I'm going to attempt it. Okay, friends, the sun is going in and out, so I apologize if the lighting is just getting completely wonky. I'm trying to speed my way through this before the lighting situation just becomes unbearable. The next prompt that we have for my July 2026 TBR is to read a book with a one-word title. I ended up picking Piranesi by Suzanne Clark. This book I have seen everywhere. I have heard incredible things about it. I have been desperately wanting to read it for so, so long, but it's one that I've almost been a little worried to put on my TBR. I think that it just seems like it's such a loved book that I'm worried I'm not going to like it as much as everyone else. I've not read anything else by Susanna Clark before, so I don't have anything to compare it to, which I'm really happy about. And I'm just hoping that it lives up to the hype because I cannot wait to read this. Our next prompt for the month is to read a book that was published this year. And the book that was chosen for this prompt is Vigil by George Saunders. I've never read anything from this author before, but I saw this when it was newly released at the store, and for some reason the cover just really, really intrigued me, and I felt compelled to pick it up. I don't know what this is about. I have not read the synopsis. I don't even know that I've seen anyone review this, so I'm going in completely blind, but I'm excited to do so. What I will say is that at this point in picking my TBR for July, I was feeling very good about my chances of being able to read every book on it because the last three books that were chosen are all pretty short. I mean, I think Piranesi and I think Bat Eaters look deceptively short because the pages are thin and the writing is pretty small. But I was feeling very, very good about the idea of getting through these six books after having picked Vigil. And of course, the TBR cards had to make me pay for feeling confident because the next prompt that was chosen for the month of July is to read a book with more than 500 pages. Of course, that's what happened. So I will say though, the random number generator was very good to me because if I had to read a book over 500 pages, I'm so glad that it landed on this one because this one has just been screaming at me for the last few months. Like, this is a book I have been really, really wanting to pick up because I hear nothing but great things about it. And that book is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. I believe this is a fantasy. It takes place maybe at a school, or there are like different trials that people have to go through. I don't believe there's a lot of romance in here, which I'm totally fine with. And again, I've just heard nothing but great things. I know this is going to be a series, and I'm excited to dive in. I am really hopeful that I love this. And our last prompt for July 2026 is to read a book with flowers on the cover. And the book that was chosen is The Last Wish of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. This is the second book in a duology. I read the first book last year, fall, winter time, and I told myself I was going to get to book two right away because I didn't want to forget what happened in book one, but also book one ends on a really interesting and intriguing note, and I wanted to finish off the story quickly. And now we're halfway through 2026 and I haven't read it yet. Of course, I continue to get distracted with other things. I end up mood reading. I find a new series like Dungeon Crawler Crawl and become obsessed with it. So I'm actually really, really happy this ended up on my TBR this month. I have read one, two, three books by Mary Pearson. I've really, really enjoyed all of them, and I'm very much looking forward to this. And that is it for my July 2026 TBR. I am beyond excited for the books that I have on my TBR. Like, I'm genuinely intrigued, interested, excited for every single one of them. I'm, of course, nervous for a couple of them, but one in particular. But I haven't felt this good about a TBR in a while. And again, I'm like really, really motivated to try and read every single book on my TBR in the month of July. It's been a while since I've done that and I want to accomplish that goal. If you've read any of the books that are on my TBR this month, please leave some spoiler-free thoughts down below. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.